Okay, so the first flight with this is the Evo Nano Plus. I'm going to be testing this in a couple of locations, but to start with, I'm just going to bring it here. It is super bright today, so it's going to be interesting to see how it handles the harsh lighting conditions that we have got here. Not ideal, but I'm going to be putting this through quite a few tests. So first of all, let's get this up in the air. So the Autel Evo Nano Plus, this is the premium combo which I unboxed on the last video, and this is a sub 250 gram drone. But what's different to other drones in this sector, that this has obstacle avoidance and some extra added features. But not only that, a fantastic camera on board this drone, making it have fantastic photo and video quality. Now I'm going to get to all that and show you its great features. But all new drones out of the gate have some issues and niggles, so let's just address them first. Firstly, the frame rates. At the moment we only have the option to have 4K in 30 FPS, 2.7K in 30 FPS. It's not only until you drop down to 1080p we have the option to have 60 FPS or 30. We would like and hopefully get 24 FPS and 25 FPS. And the second thing, I do apologise if you're wearing earphones, is the app noise. This.
Start recording.
The constant sound and feedback.
Stop recording.
From the app.
Start
it
recording.
Needs to change. And finally, portrait mode. So this mode is where you drag a box around yourself, and then what it's meant to do either in photo or video is blur the background. And it has different modes: close if you're just on your own, medium like a couple of people, or long if you've got quite a few people with you. But at the moment I can't get this working. I noticed Captain Drone also had the same issue, so it must be because this is a pre-production drone. The firmware will address this, but at the moment I couldn't get that working, and then the noise of the track and everything was driving me mad. So I just moved on, but this should be fixed really soon. Now let's remember, this is a pre-production release drone that I've got, and I have been told by Autel that a firmware update is coming out really soon and will address and add new features like the new dynamic track. So it's great that Autel have been open about this, and now we can get into the main thing about this drone, which is its good points. The obstacle avoidance system on here is really accurate. It has front, back and down position sensors on this drone. So you can see here on the screen it's got your information about the aircraft nose and its tail, and it gives you the information. Red means you're really close to an object, and then it goes into yellow, meaning it's quite close to one. And it's accurate. As you can see here, as I'm flying towards this lamppost here, it's in yellow, and as we get closer it will turn to red, and then because I'm just slightly off it will allow me to go past it, but it slows the aircraft down. Here head on it's now red, and as I've got my finger now on the right stick pushing straight forward, it will not move. It completely stops, and it is decent. Now I have noticed, or tried to look in settings, there isn't a way at the moment of it swerving around an object. It just stops, and it will stop accurately and fast. As I'm flying again into this lamppost, you can see it will just stop and will not let me proceed. It will only let me do this when I actually increase the altitude. Now it's gone off, I can then continue. So it's great to see that we do have some kind of protection on here. Even going at a fairly quick speed straight into this lamppost here, the drone will just automatically stop and will not let you hit any of these objects. So this is fantastic to see on these small drones. So what about Quickshots? Well, Quickshots on here as well. You do have 4 of them. You've got fadeaway, rocket, orbit and flick. Flick at the moment is probably my favorite one. So we all know what Quickshots are by now. Fadeaway, it kind of, you drag a box around you and then it'll just keep going, but it works and it works well, and the video quality is also decent. So loads of us like Quickshots. Do we all use Quickshots? Well, you can teach yourself these manually, but flick on here and orbit I find are the best ones. Rocket we've seen millions of times, but this works great. And from an app perspective, the first firmware updates on here, the Quickshots are working great. I do like the flick one. This is where you drag a box around something, it will go towards it and then it will just quickly swerve around and then back off, and you get a good video as well. Something which would be quite hard to replicate doing the flick Quickshots. So Quickshots, really good. Now video quality on this drone, with its slightly larger sensor than the Mini 2, 50 megapixel camera, the video quality is brilliant. From a first firmware update like this as well, everything out of here, the natural colours, and it's got a really decent autofocusing system on here. So I would compare the video quality from this drone to something like the Air 2S. The camera quality is just that good. Now, all of the videos and photos you'll see today are not edited. These are direct out of this drone in harsh lighting conditions. So this is a fantastic and probably the biggest advantage that this drone has at the moment. Now, stability and GPS lock are also super important. Just look in the corners on this image now, fairly high up. It is really stable, hardly any movement there whatsoever. So this drone, for its size, perfectly stable at high altitudes. It's also got a zoom on it as well. I'd only recommend using up to 4 times. It can go 16 times zoom, but the video quality, because of its larger sensor, there's not much noise there at 4 times zoom at all, so that is really usable. 16 times zoom I wouldn't use, but 4 times you can certainly get away with. So the zoom on here, because it's got that larger sensor, 50 megapixel, it is good. The photos as well on this with the 50 megapixel camera are really good quality. We're fairly high up here and you can see you have different photo options. Photo quality is fine, that's good. Also, you can zoom in on photos the same up to 16 times. I probably just for photos use 1 or 2 times, but you've got things like single burst timer, auto bracket photos, and then we'll go into some of the others later on. And you can do 4.3 or 16:9. So photos are great, and we'll go through that in a later video. Now, the return to home function on here is brilliant. So from this distance away now, I'm going to activate the return to home. Do this on the actual controller or the app. So I'm just going to do it on the app here, and then once it's gone to its desired or your custom altitude, it will come back to you really fast. And the good thing about this is that it is spot on, so the accuracy is brilliant. Okay, so that's just landed now, and it's landed in directly the exact same places where we took off. So from a landing point of view for a return to home, it's remembered where we were, and the mapping on that is absolutely spot on. So it's landed perfectly, pretty much exactly the same spot where it took off as well. So great, let's move to that next location. Alright, so we've now got golden hour, so a great time to showcase the video and photo quality in this now location. I'll also show you how to do extra things like Hyperlapse as well. But I'm more than impressed with this video quality. We need to remember as well that this is still a 249 gram drone, so it has all those advantages that that drone will bring you, but with these added features. Now, at the moment, this drone has the potential to be the best portable 250 gram drone out there. Now, I say potential because at the moment the firmware isn't all there. We are missing some features at the moment, but it will get better. Also say this should be arriving by the end of January. We will then be able to test out the dynamic tracking, that active track on here, able to drag a box around you or a vehicle, and then it will track you. And then you'll pretty much have everything in a small 250 gram drone like this that you could possibly want. The obstacle avoidance sensors work great here. As you can see them taking this photo, there's a seagull sniffing around the back of the drone, and that alerts me here by saying 2.4 feet away there is something, so I can quickly move away. Another feature I was impressed with on this drone was the signal. So in an area like this, loads of Wi-Fi interference, and the GPS signal on here was remarkable. I only had 1 bar drop out the whole time when filming, and the signal performance on here, there was no lag. The feedback to my phone, having that 2.7K feedback on your phone makes a massive difference. And just look here at this video quality. The image looks nice and sharp, I've got good saturation, and nothing is color graded here. There's no LUTs added. This is just straight out of the drone. The zoom camera on here works well as well, and we've also got that harsh sunlight directly facing the drone. So we're going to use the 2 times zoom again here, just zooming in to this, and you can see now on this image there's hardly any noise on here, and it's more than usable in 2 times zoom. Now again, once again in 4 times zoom, you're going to lose some of the quality and you start to introduce noise into the image. But what do you think? From a small drone like this, it's not bad, is it? And I think the video quality on here is the main draw, and that's what speaks for itself. Now you're going to have this video quality, you've got the obstacle avoidance sensors, and then I'm hoping all the other features on here not only improve and get better, but we might see more extra features added as well. So for my first flight with this, I was thoroughly impressed. Just while we're here again, we'll take another photo and show you another photo here, because I know a lot of you want to buy a drone for photography, not just for taking videos. So photos on here are great. The image is super stable, keeping everything nicely composed. You do have pro mode options as well, which I'll go through in a full video at a later date. But from here you have program manual, you have shutter priority, and you can change the ISO, the white balance, the shutter speed, the exposure values. These are all completely customizable, and you can do this in both photo and video. So I'm hoping Freewell are watching this and you are working really hard developing an ND filter, which is going to be really nice and lightweight. I cannot wait to test that, because you know I love my ND filters. But yeah, photos and videos, if that's what you want in your drone primarily for, and then all the other features are just extras, you'll be really impressed with this. And Hyperlapse as well. At the moment this is quite basic. You only have the option of either manual or orbit, but Autel do say that this is going to be improving again with this firmware update. So for the orbits, I'm just going to drag a box here just to the left hand side, and what it will do then, it will then go around and then just create its own hyperlapse for you. And then you'll see here, it's now dragged the box, it will just lock onto that, get into position. It will take a number of photos that you set, and then after that you will be able to then go and view all the photos and either create your own edit by color grading them in your editing software, or it will give you the video as well onto your phone and you get your own hyperlapse. And it is customizable. You can change the photo intervals, the video duration, the speed of the drone, and all them values will then increase or decrease the length of that hyperlapse. But it's great to see. So all these are ready to start with. This is a pre-production unit, as I said before. It will be getting better at the end of January as well, and I will be doing a full comparison against the current king, the DJI Mini 2, because I think the Mini 2 is quite threatened up there, and we're going to have a new leader.
Start recording.